Hey guys, this is Jim Ward with Jim Ward's Whitetail Academy. Another training video about what we do. We had brought this property about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and this property had already been timbered. But what I'm going to show you here today is how we've made this trap, and it's a good example of what I like to do. But we've actually taken it to the next level, and so I've been cutting bigger and bigger timber and hinge cut trees for the last few years, and the reason I am is because I see the value of it. And how I've learned to do what I do now is by keep going back to properties and seeing the results, whether it's out on the eastern shore of Maryland or central Nebraska. And so what I know about bucks are, most of the time they want to be on higher ground. Even if it's in a river bottom and it's 3 or 4 feet higher than what's next to it. And so that's the first spot that I start at on a property. And so this piece here is completed, and that's the reason I want to explain it before the vegetation gets up, so you're going to be able to see this better. And we're going to add some other segments to this video. One of them is going to be showing a drone flying this property, and we're actually going to sell this property. And so this property is going to be 100% completed to the best that we can do it. And so here's an example. We're in the back corner, which is the northeast corner of the property. And so this is an example of a bed. So we're up on high ground, and what deer do is they lay here in this bed with their feet pointed downhill. And so they're oriented with this log at their back pointed downhill. Naturally, in hilly environment, what you have is a flat spot on the uphill side of a tree. And so that's naturally where they want to go. There is already a bed here. I'm copying it. I'm making it better. And so we have back cover here, and then a 5 foot long, 3 foot wide bed. And we have several of them in this area, and we'll have 3 to 4 spots for each deer. And so what we've also done on this property is we've done a perimeter trail. And what this perimeter trail is basically a 4-wheeler trail all the way around the inside of the property line. That lets the neighbors know exactly where the property line is. It establishes that. That gives us in and out, and that's where we want to use every square inch of the property. And then we got a wall of cover just inside of that to where we can access behind that wall of cover. What I know now for a fact on deer is the most important things on having large numbers of deer and getting deer to do what you want them to do is give them what they want. They want vegetation that's in their face so they can get at it, and they want a variety of vegetation. So getting sunlight to the ground is key to what we're doing. And that's the reason I'm cutting bigger trees. This property here had already been timbered when we bought it, so it helped me. And so I could put my trees exactly where I wanted them faster because the other stuff was out of the way. We've done an excellent timber stand improvement on this property. And so now this is basically a white oak property. And that's another video, but timbers are going poorer and poorer condition all across the Midwest because of high grading timber. They had some good timber in here taken out, but the next timber harvest in here is going to be a long time, 20-25 years. But it's going to be mainly a very valuable species. Instead of leaving junk trees in here, we took them down so they're not reseeding the place. We're reseeding it with white oaks. The best way to timber a property is with almost a clear cut, so that everything comes at one time when we got big, tall, straight trees. One of the best deer hunting situations is the 4-year-old clear cut because it's cover above the deer's eyes and it's food, and it's a variety of food. That's what I'm imitating. That's what we're doing. And so we've made walls around the outside of the property, vegetative walls for the deer to feel comfortable, and then we've made a lot of access trails around in here so we have edge all over the property. This piece here, this trap, is a little over 4 acres. And what we've done in the southeast corner of the property is we put an airtight redneck buck palace blind, the best we could come up with. And so you can actually hunt this situation on any wind direction because we're going to put desiccant and some other stuff in that blind to absorb the moisture, so you're not going to have issues that way. And the whole thing's been set up is the bedding up on high ground. Within 100 yards of the stand, you're hunting within 100 yards of where the deer are going to be bedded at. We have a destination food plot out behind the stand, and we got a staging area food plot right in front of the stand. We've put in 2 ponds on the property to catch the water runoff so we can hold moisture on the ground, but to also channelize the deer to a pinch point right in front of the box blind. The dams of those stands or those ponds are pointed straight in front of the stand, so they'll either walk across the top of the dam or walk along the water's edge to encourage that activity. We put about 1/8 of an acre of chicory plot right in front of the stand. Total in here we've got over an acre of Roundup Ready alfalfa that we're going to take care of and probably harvest some of it for some winter food source. But we got winter wheat all over this. So I'm going to show you here what the neighbor's property looks like over here and how open it is. And so this timber was probably harvested 12 to 15 years ago. We don't really know. It's got some cover in it. It's better than a lot of properties, but you can still see through it, and that timber is mainly small beech down low. So when they take the next cutting of valuable trees out of that, and they don't do any timber stand improvement, what they're going to have is junk for now on until somebody puts some effort into it. We're not going to have that up here. We're going to have big acorn production because we've taken the competition away from these white oak trees, and the canopies are going to blow up, and science says now that's the answer to producing more acorns and growing timbers, to getting the competition away from it, not necessarily producing more fertilizer or even putting lime in there to make the soil perfect. Those benefit after you do what we've done here. So we've cut the vines out of the trees so the deer can eat on the vines. They eat on every vine that I know of. And we've planted seed all through this bedding area. We got winter wheat in here, and so the idea is it'll sprout now. We'll have food right in the bedding area all winter long. We put 50 pounds of crimson clover on this. On this side, we've put about 400 pounds of winter wheat and rye grain. And again, it's our travel corridors all through this bedding area, and we encourage the deer to pop out again at the staging area in front of the blind. Any buck that crosses this property, we have about a 90% chance of killing that deer, how we've laid this out.